These skulls whisper your death date if you listen. The air in the crypt is thick, damp, like breathing through wet cloth. Your shoes scuff against the stone floor, each step echoing back at you from the walls lined with bones. Not just any bone skulls, hundreds of them, arranged in neat rows, their hollow eyes watching as you pass. You're alone, or so you think. Then you hear it, a whisper. Not from the walls, not from the shadows, from one of the skulls. A voice soft but clear, saying a date that hasn't happened yet. But why does the voice sound exactly like someone you know? That's what happened to Clara in 2018. She was a tourist visiting the Capuchin Crypt in Rome, snapping photos of the eerie bone decorations. The crypt is famous for its macabre art chapels built entirely from human remains. Skulls stacked like bricks, femurs forming arches, even a chandelier made of vertebrae. It's unsettling, sure, but it's just history, just bones. Until Clara heard the whisper, a voice barely louder than a breath, coming from a skull near the back of the chamber. It said, "Leave by October 12th. Clara froze. The voice wasn't just any voice. It sounded like her sister Sophia. The same warm tone, the same slight rasp in her throat when she was tired. Clara turned, heart pounding, but the skull was just a skull. No lips, no tongue, no life. Just bone. She laughed it off, chalked it up to stress, to the crypt's oppressive atmosphere. She left that day, but she didn't leave by October 12th. On October 12th, Sophia was driving home from work when a truck swerved into her lane. The police said she didn't suffer. Clara got the call at 3:47 p.m., the same time she later realized that the skull had whispered to her. Here's the thing, Clara's story isn't the only one. Dozens of visitors over the years have reported the same thing. A whisper from a skull, always a date, always in a voice they recognize. A parent, a sibling, a friend. And every time, someone connected to that voice dies on the exact date the skull predicted. Not before, not after. On that day, the crypt's caretakers won't talk about it. They'll tell you the bones belong to Capuchin monks, that the crypt was built in the 1700s as a reminder of mortality. Memento mori, remember you must die. But they won't tell you why the skulls are arranged in a specific order by the date each monk died. They won't tell you why. If you stand in the center of the crypt and listen, you can hear faint whispers when no one else is around. And they definitely won't tell you why locals refuse to enter after dark. They say the skulls don't just predict death, they choose who hears them. Others have heard the whispers too. A historian visiting in 2019 heard his own name spoken by a voice that sounded like his dead grandfather. It gave a date. He stayed in Rome, convinced it was all in his head. On the day before that date, he was struck in the street. He woke from a coma the next morning, on the exact date the skull had named. The dates are always specific, always tied to someone the listener knows. And the voices? They're always familiar. Like the skulls are pulling memories from your mind, twisting them into warnings. But warnings about what? Your own death, or someone else's? In 2020, a group of friends visited the crypt. One of them, Luca, heard a whisper. A date May 17th and a voice that sounded like his best friend, Matteo. Luca didn't tell Matteo. He didn't want to scare him. But on May 16th, Matteo called Luca in a panic. He'd had a nightmare, he said. A dream where Luca died on May 17th. Luca laughed it off. The next day, May 17th, Luca was crossing the street when a car jumped the curb. He survived, but he spent the next month in the hospital. Matteo didn't. The crypt's legend says the skulls don't just predict death, they invite it. That if you hear a whisper and you don't leave by the date it gives you, the death it predicts will find you. Or worse, it'll find someone you love. The locals know this. That's why they avoid the crypt after dark. That's why, if you ask them about the whispers, they'll cross themselves and walk away. But tourists don't know. They wander in, cameras flashing, laughing at the macabre decorations, until they hear the whisper, until they recognize the voice, until they realize the skulls aren't just watching them. They're waiting for them. So here's the question. If you heard a whisper in that crypt, a date, a voice you know, would you stay? Would you wait to see if it's real? Or would you run? 'Cause the skulls are still there, still arranged by date, still whispering, and the next voice you hear might sound exactly like someone you can't live without. Would you stay to hear your date? Comment yes or no, then share with someone who'd run.